This is Taylor with Pride.com, and today we're talking to Jordy.
Just friends, see you only on the weekends. Sorry, hope you understand. I like you a little too much for that. Maybe I don't wanna be just friends. Always hearing about your ex. Sorry, there's no going back. I like you a little too much for that. Maybe I don't wanna be.
The vocals.
The vocals.
Who gave you the right?
That is a good question. And I appreciate that.
Very hard-hitting one first.
Great.
Is ketchup a salsa?
Is ketchup a salsa?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Do you think so?
It's you.
I don't think ketchup is a salsa. If somebody was putting ketchup on their taco or something, or dipping tortilla chips in ketchup, I don't think I would approve.
A counter.
Okay.
Salsa literally translates to sauce.
Well, maybe I am mistaken. Perhaps ketchup is a salsa, but I don't know.
Who makes these rules? I don't know. I don't know if it is. I just like.
Great. We love that.
I just like asking, you know?
Yeah.
How did you get into singing? Did you always know that you wanted to be a singer? Where did that desire come from?
I have been singing my entire life. There is a lot of home footage of me singing as a kid. Ever since I could talk, I was singing. I think it was more like in the past couple of years that I really started diving into the pop writing. I had written as a kid and as a teenager, but when I moved here a couple of years ago to LA, I started taking the writing more seriously. But singing has always been something that was very natural to me and something that I've been doing ever since I was a kid. I did choir and a cappella and musical theater, and it was always a dream to do pop music. And so when I moved here, I was like, okay, I got the singing thing down, but I really needed to dive into the writing thing and learn a lot in that kind of realm of music.
So I'm assuming that's led up to Just Friends, which is when we first took notice.
Yes, for sure.
About a year ago now.
Yes, about a year ago.
Yeah,
Just Friends was released.
The creation of that and the music video, which is so cute.
Yeah, no. So when I moved to LA, I was getting out of a relationship, and I was learning how to date again, and there were a couple of guys that I was, hanging out with, and I thought that the vibes were good, and then they kind of pulled the I just want to be friends card, and I was like, I'm gonna write a song about it.
Yeah.
So I texted my roommate, Will, who I was living with at the time, and I was like, this is the millionth time this has happened to me. We have to write a song right now. And so I recorded some voice memo stuff into my phone in the Uber on the way home, and I got home and we wrote the song. And it probably was written in an hour. I feel like it took us no time at all.
Yeah.
We just sat at the piano and wrote it, and I did not realize how important that day would be, because I feel obviously Just Friends has performed the best, and I think that a lot of people have heard it and related to it. And so I'm really happy all of those rejections happened, or else the song wouldn't exist.
Complications, but I just gotta say it. Maybe I don't wanna be just friends. See you only on the weekend. Sorry, hope you understand. I like you a little too much for that. Maybe I don't wanna be just friends. Always
Sitting next to this guy, and he has no idea what's happening around him. He's just absolutely oblivious to everything that's happening around him, just kind of in homage to the idea that he pays no attention to me and is oblivious to my feelings for him, or just the idea that he wasn't feeling the way that I was feeling. And so I was like, it'd be really cool if we were sitting on a couch, and then this entire party happens around him and he has no idea. He's kind of just looking forward and is kind of just in his own world the entire time. And so we just kind of worked off of that idea, and we got a bunch of extras, and it turned out really great, and I love that video so much, and I think that it's beautifully made, and I just love how there's just so much commotion happening, and the entire time the love interest is just looking straight and not paying attention at all, because he doesn't notice me. Woo! Ooh.
At pride.com, we think the song is really beautiful because it also like features male love interest.
Yes.
And, you know, this was for us at least. This was your first song that we really were like, who is this?
Yeah.
And I think that it's really brave still. To this day, it's really brave to be out of the gate open about who you are and who you love.
Yeah.
And why was that important to you?
I feel like I'm just really lucky to have like grown up in a community where like my family was super accepting and my friends that I went to high school with were like just very loving. And then I went to college in Boston, which is like a super, you know, young city and very progressive, and I felt really comfortable there just being myself. And so honestly, like I didn't even really think twice about it. I was like, clearly the love interest is gonna be a guy because I'm into guys.
Yeah.
So the artwork is gonna be two boys holding hands, and the love interest in the music video will certainly not be a woman, but it would be a man because I'm interested in men. And so yeah, I mean, I want to I recognize how lucky I am and how fortunate I am, and so, you know, if I could use that comfort to like inspire other people to feel comfortable with themselves, that's like my main goal. And so, I never thought twice about it. I was like, love interest is gonna be a dude because I like dudes.
Yeah.
So, and I'm really happy that, you know, people are seeing that and feeling that because, you know, I want to like speak for those who might not feel comfortable speaking out for themselves yet, you know?
Yeah.
So
We stand.
we stand.
What was the name of your college a cappella group?
My college a cappella group is called the BU Treblemakers. I went to Boston University. The Treblemakers, because we made so much treble. Yeah.
I love like a cappella bands.
Yeah, right?
I've heard of them.
No, but that was really important because I didn't study music, and so my outlet in college was like singing in my a cappella group and like arranging and performing, and it was just a really good way for me to like exercise that like performing muscle and feeling comfortable on stage and stuff. So when I came to LA, I was like, the performing thing, the singing thing I have down. I need to like write good songs now.
What's your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Pisces.
Very
Water
much a
sign?
Pisces. Water.
Yeah.
Water. Lots of tears. My moon is a Cancer, so like I'm just like made of water. And I'm crying all the time, so it's great.
You're very emotive in your music. Like your music's also about like relationships and emotions, especially your new song.
Yeah.
But also like in your voice, you can hear the emotion in your
Thank
voice.
you,
Like,
thank you.
I was like, he must be a water.
I've always been like a very like hard on sleeve kind of person.
Yeah.
Just very, very vulnerable, very emotional guy,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. Okay, good.
Tell me about Close to You, your new single.
Close to You. Okay, so as I said, when I moved to LA, I was like coming out of a really serious relationship. I was dating this lovely guy for a couple of years in Boston, and I had been in LA for a year, and I started working with a manager who was based in Sweden, and he flew me out there a year ago for like the month of October and put me in a lot of sessions, and I met this lovely young writer. Her name's Charlie, and this other writer, his name's Joel, and this guy that actually is from LA, he produced Just Friends, his name's Jeff. He happened to be in Stockholm at the same time as me, and there was just one evening where we all happened to be free, and it was kind of like this cold fall night, and we went into the studio and just kind of started talking about, you know, like maintaining an ex relationship. And for me, the relationship I have with my ex is like, it's a really beautiful relationship. There was no like bad blood with the breakup. I think it was a very like mutual decision because we both had these dreams that we wanted to chase, and he had, you know, his goals and I had mine. And so when we broke up, it was like, you know, because I was moving away and we needed to find ourselves, and there wasn't really any like bad reason that we needed to break up for. Like there was no, you know, cheating or anything malicious. It was literally just like, we need to find ourselves and do our own thing. And so I was like, this is hard for me because, you know, I almost wish I had a reason to like hate him, but I really don't.
Yeah.
Like he's an amazing guy, and, you know, I think there are pros and cons to each kind of breakup. But, you know, I was just talking about how when I'm really close to him, it makes me miss him a lot, and it kind of reminds me of why we were together. But then when I take a step back, I still miss him because I'm like feeling like I'm missing out on everything happening in his life. And so Charlie, one of the co-writers, she was like, so you feel like you're either too close or you're not close enough? And I was like, yep, that is how I feel, 100%. And so we wrote Close to You that night on guitar. Also didn't take very long. It was like a very emotional song to write, but it kind of just like spilled out of us. Yeah, we left that night with the song, and a year later, you know, it's out in the world, and it's really, really special to me just because of how specific it is. But it's one of my favorites. I needed to release this for me because I've been holding on to it for way too long, and I just like needed to like let it go and let its way into the world. So
'Cause when you talk to me, it's like I'm still the one. I know that we said that we ended it all, 'cause I moved away. I wanna be close to you.
So what's next?
what's next? We have some collaborations coming out soon. We have an EP coming out in the new year. Lots of new music, a lot of new shows. I recently just got signed to APA, so there's a lot of shows happening. I'm doing a little, thank you, doing a little like Midwest tour, maybe some shows in New York, some more LA shows, maybe some Pride things over the summer. So we will see. But I'm very excited to keep releasing music, keep writing music, and keep performing a lot, because it's kind of my favorite thing to, you know, it's one thing to like see the numbers on Spotify and see people listening, but when you're able to like perform it in front of real humans and like connect with your fans that way, it's like really, really special. So I'm very excited to do more shows and stuff like that. So yeah.
We're also excited.
Yay, I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for chatting with us.
Of course, this was awesome.
Yeah.
Peace.
Then